The check engine light. That's one of the last things you want to see when you're driving across the country, but that's what we got last night. Although the good news is we actually landed right in this town called Kearney, Nebraska, and we were literally right next door to a Jeep dealership. So that was some really good luck, and they already ran the diagnostic on it, and it seems like it's going to be something very minor. Thank God it's not something, major. It looks like it's some kind of vapor leak thing, something to do with the gas tank. And so that solenoid probably needs to be replaced. That's what it seems like it is. That's the only code that's being thrown off by that check engine light. I'll keep you guys posted once the repair is done. Man, did we get lucky. Turns out there's nothing actually wrong with the Jeep. It seems like it might have been just an error that it was throwing off this code for the gas tank. So thank God there's nothing actually wrong with it. And Nathan over here at this Jeep dealership in Kearney, he took really good care of us. So if anybody is ever in Kearney, Nebraska, definitely come over here and see Nathan. These guys were awesome. We were in and out of here in like half an hour. I know that's probably not typical, especially if there's something more serious wrong, but man, did we get lucky, and I'm so happy that everything is okay with the car and we can get back on the road. So I decided to make a cross-country road trip vlog, but the problem is I left Miami, Florida over a week ago, and now I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, and I haven't documented any of it except for when I was staying in my hometown of Belvidere, Illinois with my family. But I'm going to change that now and try to start documenting the rest of this trip since we still have a long ways to go. Right now we are in Des Moines, Iowa, and as you can see behind me, we stayed at this travel lodge last night, we stayed at this Econo Lodge last night, and it wasn't too bad for the price. I think it was like $76 for the night, so not too bad. And I just wanted to give a little summary of kind of what has happened so far. So yesterday was August 30th, today is August 31st, and we left Belvidere, Illinois sometime in the late afternoon, and then we arrived in Des Moines, Iowa about 4 hours later. And basically, I don't want to drive more than like 4 or 5 hours a day getting all the way to California, basically just to make it easy going along the way. I'm not in a hurry. I have plenty of time to get there, and so I think that's going to be like the best way for us to make this trip without it being stressful and just making it more fun. We get to stop and see more places like this along the way. I've never been this far west as far as like driving goes, so we're in Des Moines, Iowa now. And after I'm done shooting this little segment here, I'm going to hit the gym. So I'm going to keep up with my gym routine like I normally would in Miami. And then the goal today is to make it to Kearney, Nebraska, which is about another 4 hours west. So you can kind of see the pattern. We're making it 4 hours, maybe 5 hours one day if I feel lucky. But I don't want to drive more than that. I want to keep it fun. So last night we ended up at this restaurant in downtown Des Moines called Fresco. The food was absolutely delicious. If you're ever in Des Moines, I highly recommend checking out this restaurant. I had the salmon, Lizzie had the lobster ravioli, and it was just delicious, guys. But we didn't really do any exploring of Des Moines. We're probably just gonna try and make it to Nebraska today, over to Kearney, because as you can see, the weather isn't the greatest, although it's not too bad. It was kind of pouring rain last night. There was a severe thunderstorm rolling through the area. So today we'll make it to Kearney, Nebraska, and I'll keep you guys posted along the way. I was able to get in an excellent workout right over here at Anytime Fitness in West Des Moines. The owner, Justin, was a super cool guy. He let me in for a day pass. It was only like 10 bucks, and it feels so good to like hit the real gym for the first time in over 2 weeks. So I'm really pumped, feeling good, just like you always feel after the gym. And I'm ready to hit the road and get on over to Kearney, Nebraska. And of course, I couldn't resist stopping at Cracker Barrel along the way on the trip because this place is so cheap and so good. now that I can rest easy knowing that the car is good, just a couple of thoughts on the road trip since we left Iowa yesterday. We left Des Moines, we ended up in this place called Kearney, Nebraska, and it was actually a pleasure to drive through Iowa. I thought it was going to be very boring, but there's actually a lot of hills. We took Highway 80 going west, and there's a ton of rolling hills and valleys. It's almost like going through the mountains, just not quite as high of an elevation drop, but it was very pleasing to drive through Iowa, much more than I thought it would be. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise of the trip. And also, everybody here in Nebraska has been super friendly, from the hotels that we stayed at here, as well as the Jeep dealership, and even the waitress at the restaurant last night. So it turns out it's not just the South that has that good old Southern hospitality. You can also find it right here in the Midwest in Iowa and Nebraska. When I first pulled into downtown Denver here, so far seemed good. But I was pretty shocked after driving through town a little bit because it started to look like California over here. I'm not sure if the whole place looks like this, but stay tuned for the next one. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, and go ahead and check out my next video on the screen, and I'll catch you guys over there in the next one.